He wired the night to his breath, and for one terrible, glorious hour the city forgot that money measured light. Nikola Tesla moved like an idea made flesh, quick hands, a mouth that smelled of ozone, and eyes that saw the world as a lattice of possible currents. To him, the universe was a language and electricity its grammar. To the bankers, it was inventory. To the industrialists, it was toll booths and ledgers. He sketched futures on the back of tabloids and in the margins of hotel bills, diagrams of towers that sang to the sky, coils that whispered through empty air, promises that light might, one day, be as free as wind. At Wardenclyffe, he built in the hush between optimism and panic. The tower rose like a question mark against the harbor, a monument not to hubris, but to a vision that refused to be priced. People came to gape. Investors came to count. The machine hummed in the dark like a patient animal. Children pressed their faces to the fence and swallowed the sound. For Tesla, the plan was simple and devastatingly pure. Broadcast power, make it cheap, make it inescapable. For everyone who had stake in scarcity, it was a threat, surgical and swift. Tension curled through the town like steam. The polite men in suits, men whose palms were used to the texture of contracts, began to visit, first with curious smiles, then with paper, then with thinly veiled threats. Newspapers that had once played orchestra to his eccentricities now tuned their instruments to a darker key. Edison, with his bluster and incandescent empire, played the role of antagonist with a financier's appetite. Credit tightened, friends turned cautious. Wardenclyffe's ledger bled. Then came the demonstration. Tesla crowed and cajoled and climbed. The coils were set like a chorus, the spark arced like a fable made real. For an hour, as if obeying a secret covenant, lamps in distant streets glowed without a meter's count. Horse-drawn wheels stopped to hear the city breathe differently. Men inside counting rooms looked up, as if some invisible hand had taken their coins and offered in return a world without tolls. Panic is not loud at first. It is a soft tightening in a throat. It swelled into action. Bankers called loans, inspectors noted structural faults, and emissaries arrived with the tact of a guillotine. When the machinery fell silent, it was not merely a failure of engineering. It was a political excision, the surgical removal of a possibility someone determined was dangerous. Wardenclyffe was dismantled, and Tesla was left with pockets full of notebooks and hands full of pigeons. Historians wrote the neat sentence, "He failed." The world returned to its transactions and meters. The tower became a photograph people glanced at when they needed proof that dreams sometimes end. But endings, like electrical arcs, scatter in shards. Tesla was not merely an inventor of coils, he was a strategist of attention. He understood how power is held, not only in wires, but in habits, in institutions, in the very architecture of desire. If men would not allow a tower to make energy free in plain sight, perhaps he could teach freedom in fragments, small, distributed, and therefore harder to tax. The twist is quieter than rumor. He did not leave the world empty-handed. In notebooks buried under layers of petty legal correspondence and recipe-like notes, he encoded methods, tiny blueprints for coils that could be hidden in lamps, lessons that could be learned by tinkering hands. Not a single grand device to overthrow commerce overnight, but seeds, a technique, a rhythm, a way to coax current into a space where no meter could easily follow. These were not machines for boardrooms. They were gifts for alleys, kitchens, orphanages, the kind of things that spread not by patents but by curiosity. People later found such fragments, took them apart, rebuilt them, improved them. A lamp here, a humming key there, the work of anonymous hands, of those who preferred light to receipts. The revolution did not come on banners. It crept, soldered and clandestine, into pockets and cupboards. Power in small acts began to leak from the ledger. So who was defeated? The man in the newsprint with pigeons at his window, or the idea he scattered like contraband seeds? The final sharp truth is this. Tesla lost the battle for spectacle, and thereby won a quieter war. He taught the world a secret that could not be unlearned, that abundance could be distributed not by monuments, but by people who choose to share. The world was not too small for his genius. It was, tragically, too orderly. He answered by teaching disorder, gentle, persistent, and incandescent. And the last, small irony, one that history prefers to tuck into footnotes, was that the man they branded as mad did not die bent beneath his hubris. He died stubbornly like a locksmith, leaving behind not the single key to the treasury, but instructions on how to make many.